Yay. All right. Here you go. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone on Call to Calm. Good morning to everybody over there on YouTube. Happy to be with you all. Super happy to be with you all, actually. Really, really grateful to be with you all. I trust you're all having a fantastic morning and that you can hear me and you can see me and that all is well in your world. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Good morning, good morning. So, so much to share, so much is happening. But I would like to explore something that may be a point of theological friction for you. In some cases, even theosophical friction for you. And why it's a point of theological or theosophical friction is because some of you are holding on to the notion that there was a version of you that was not loved or not accepted by this higher power that's known by many different names. And so I'd like to challenge that a little bit and challenge it respectfully, knowing that, of course, you all have your own paths, your own journeys, your own perfect unfolding of everything. So, as we examine our relationship with God or the divine or whatever the higher power is that you believe in, I think it's safe to say now that we can begin to recognize that the manifestation of that higher power is love. How am I doing so far? That's the most important thing. That the manifestation of that higher power of God, of the divine, according to your programming, your conditioning, your faith, your belief system, your cultural heritage, where you have come from in your life, that the manifestation of that higher power is love. So what I don't always understand or recognize is why individuals are afraid of that love. And it's beginning to make more and more sense now as we have begun to move through this particular phase of our evolution. And I can recognize why. Because whenever you're in the presence of the energy, the light, the love, whatever you want to call that, doesn't matter, call it whatever you want, naturally the part of you that's in survival begins to come up. And the first thing that arises is fear. So the natural misunderstanding or false conclusion that we draw from that experience is that we're afraid of God, or we're afraid of the divine, or we're afraid of that love that we're experiencing, right? And you can see that sometimes when people are in the presence of the energy, the light, the love, whatever they want to call that there's a fear that arises in them. But what they don't realize is that the fear that's arising in them is the last vestiges of their created self, their survival-based self, coming up to flow up and out of them. So it's safe to say that separation requires fear. Duality requires fear. Suffering requires fear. That to whatever degree, the created self, the identity, the survival-based self is based in fear. And so what we're doing, or where we are now, is in this wonderful pivot point where we can begin to have a loving, devotional, heart-centric, heart-centered relationship with the truth. To where now we don't have to be afraid of the love that we are. Because again, the common correlation in so many different faiths and traditions, and from everything from indigenous faiths and traditions and rituals to modern manifestations of religion and spirituality, the commonality is that it's all love, that we are all a manifestation of that same love. And so let's try an experiment, shall we? Close your eyes and breathe and relax. Maybe, and I'm not saying that this has to be true, we're just exploring the potential and the possibility of it. Maybe you don't have to be afraid of God, and you don't have to be afraid of the love that you are. Just take a deep breath. and just see how that feels for you. For some of you, it fundamentally flies in the face of your conditioning and everything that you've been told and everything that you've read. Because for some of you, the path to God was based in fear. That you had to live a certain life, you had to conform to a set of rules, a certain set of practices, conform to a certain ideological belief, which then also is fundamentally contradicted and flies in the face of the truth that God loves you unconditionally, and that you are totally loved, and that you are a manifestation of that love in form. So at some point we have to reconcile the theological difference or duality within ourselves. For me, I love a good midnight mass, especially growing up in England. I would love to go to midnight mass. Midnight mass was my favorite thing to go to. Loved it. Loved the choir, loved the ambiance, loved the frankincense, love a good midnight mass. The only difference is while I'm there at the midnight mass, I'm actually experiencing the totality of the devotion. I'm not overwhelmed or overcome by the fear. And I think the reason why I've always been able to have that experience is because I grew up in a home where devotion was the entry point into oneness. This is where there's a merging of the two worlds. My grandmother was epically devotional. Everything was devotion, right? Everything she did was out of her love for God, right? And in my house, we had pictures of everybody because you cover all your bases. Why not? Just in case, right? Like, who wants to be wrong about that? Nobody, right? I mean, you can be wrong about a lot of things, but let's not be wrong about that. Let's cover all of our bases, right? And then you've got a good shot that it's going to work out for you. So anyway, so I grew up with pictures of everybody, and my grandmother would offer incense to every picture, to every being, to every manifestation of eternal truth. And she was a demonstration of devotion. She was also a demonstration of service. And when I look at it, when we look at devotion and service, and we look at those two things as an entry point into oneness, union, the unification of the Alpha and the Omega, the form and the formless, right? When we look at that, everything that it takes to be an embodiment in the modern world, everything begins to kind of make sense. So this morning, I would like you to shift your relationship with the divine, the God of your understanding, whoever you were raised to believe in, into one that's based in devotion and love. Just take some deep breaths. And recognize that the fear that you're feeling, the anxiety, the anxiousness, the insecurity that you're experiencing is just the disillusion of the created self, the false self, the false self. So you're not afraid of the love that you are. You're not afraid of God. In the presence of the truth of the love that you are, in the presence of the infinite power that is God or the divine, the fear that you've been holding on to inside of yourself begins to arise. How am I doing? Can you leave me a 1 or yes in the chat if this is beginning to make sense? And can you also see how people draw the false correlation between being in the energy, being in presence, being in the presence of a higher power, and also at the same time coming to the false conclusion that there's a fear of it, right? At the same time. Which is why most people don't actualize union, why most people don't actualize embodiment. Because how can you be afraid of the very thing that you're trying to become or that you are? You can't. And if you remain in fear of it, then you will never allow it. So, this morning, and I get it, it's Wednesday, but hey, it's Wednesday. How about we open our hearts to the love, to the divine, to God, to whatever it is that you believe in? And that instead of interpreting your faith, your chosen mode or avenue through which you connect with a higher power, instead of interpreting that through survival, how about we allow ourselves to receive that through our hearts. Because for me, when I experience the truth, any truth, it doesn't matter the faith, the religion, the spiritual path, it doesn't matter. When I experience it through the heart, everything makes sense to me. When I interpret it through survival or fear, that's where the separation and the distinction begins to arise. So this morning, acknowledging the presence of the beloved, the divine, God, love, whatever that is for you, with you, within you, all around you, because it is. Surprise. Ta-da! And just allowing yourself to access that infinite truth, eternal truth. Sanatam Dharma means eternal truth, by the way. And that eternal truth is present everywhere. Receiving that being, that beloved, that higher power into your heart, whatever that is for you, that's deeply personal. That's up to you to determine. And just noticing what it feels like when you receive God, that love, that higher power, whatever it is that you believe in, according to your faith, your culture, your tradition, deeply personal, into your heart. And you have a devotional, loving relationship with love. A devotional, loving relationship with the essence of love itself. Leave me a 1 or yes in the chat when you begin to feel that or experience that or notice that there's a shift in your state of being. Okay, fantastic. So, now we're going to allow this higher power, the beloved of your understanding, whatever the manifestation of eternal truth and love is for you, whatever that means for you, it's deeply personal, to liberate you of the created self, of the fear, of the insecurity, of the anxiety, of the depression, of the rage, of everything that you've accumulated as a result of not allowing yourself to have a loving relationship with yourself and life and the Creator. So it's almost like the divine of your heart, the divine of your understanding, the God of your culture, your path, your tradition, has a giant broom. And is lovingly and meticulously just sweeping out all of the survival, all of the separation, all of the duality, until all that's left is love. And a heart-centered, heart-centric relationship with the truth. And again, whatever that means to you, deeply personal, deeply respect your personal relationship. As your friend, I would love for you to have a loving relationship. That's all. So, God, the divine, love, eternal truth, moving into your heart. In case you were brought up with separation or duality, that there was an external authority, external figure, something other than you. So, in that case, allowing it to move in, acknowledging the presence of it within you. Or if you were raised more from a unified, coherent place, then just acknowledging the presence of it within you. But either way, recognizing that that grace, that transformative power, that fire of transformation has been spoken of by every indigenous civilization and culture. It's present in every religion. It's present as the essence of spirituality itself, not the modern manifestation of it, but the essence of it, that it's everywhere. Accident? I don't think so. Coincidence? I don't think so. There's a reason why it is present everywhere. Because in the moment that you accept that there is something greater than you, is the moment you begin to dissolve the created self and the identity. And that's when all of the dormant, fear-based, survival-based stuff that's in you is activated and it begins to come up so that you can become aware of it. So this morning, because time is an illusion, let's just allow God, the God of your understanding, the divine, the love, the eternal truth, whatever that means for you, again, deeply personal, whatever that means to you. Let's just allow that higher power, that love, to complete that liberation within you. So at that point, it's not just God, the divine, light, love, eternal truth moving into your heart. It's also acknowledging that same energy, that same manifestation of life at the base of your spine. It's also acknowledging it in your stomach and your solar plexus. That this anointing and this awakening has been shared openly and in secret since the beginning of time. In most traditions, you're not allowed to access it until you're 40 or 50 years old. In indigenous civilizations and cultures, they have a way of bringing you into this through different modes and mediums. They have different ways of allowing this to unfold all the time. But it's all the same phenomenon. It's just shared in different ways. Eternal truth has been spoken by saints and sages from different traditions all over the world in different ways. So today, receiving the blessing of the infinite love that you are, even if there is no framework for a higher power, maybe you grew up in a very scientific family and everyone was very pragmatic and into measurable, quantifiable things. There's still an essence of love that's the fabric of all things. So just accepting deeply within yourself the essence of that love according to your own faith, your own tradition, how you were raised. The universality of that love. That there's a universality to it. There's a transcendence to it. But there's also an availability to it. It's available for you. And just let me know how you're feeling or how you're doing. As you allow yourself to, maybe, if today's today, have more of a devotional framework for this truth, for this higher power. More of a heart-centric one. Because when you actually have a heart-centered relationship with this infinite power that's known by so many different names all over the world, all of a sudden, you understand everything. You understand the essence of it all. This is how I can have a dear friend who is a Pentecostal preacher. And we love each other. Because eventually we're able to get to the essence of the truth. Rest in peace, Carlton Pearson. This is how I can have a relationship with a Tibetan monk. Or a guru in India. Or a minister. Because the fundamental essence of it all, beyond the theology, is love. Leave me a 1 or yes in the chat when you can begin to feel that. I would have deep Kabbalistic interactions with Rebbes, and they would be amazed. Panache, you know the Kabbalah better than most people who have been studying this for years. How do you know all of this stuff? I'm like, well, we're all mishbucha, l'chaim. Right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a universality to this love. And a devotional relationship with the truth is really quite remarkable. So, some of you have been struggling with what's been coming up in you. Hopefully now this provides you a bit of a framework for why things have been coming up in you in the way that they have. In the presence of the love, in the presence of the truth, right? The survival-based self, everything based in fear, has to come up. But instead of making yourself wrong for the fact that it is coming up, how about you just acknowledge the fact that the reason why it's coming up is because you've received the truth into your heart, that love is present, and that's what love does. It brings everything within us into harmony and balance. That's what it does. And it's not that we have to do anything with anything that's coming up. We're just being made aware of it. That's it. Just the awareness of it in and of itself is enough. The awareness of it completes it. So I've had the blessing of going to every place of worship, meeting every indigenous tribe and civilization, or at least their modern day manifestations. And I've realized that everyone is pointing toward the same truth. And that to me is deeply inspiring. It makes me deeply hopeful. Because all roads lead home. Eventually, all roads lead home. And where is that home? Your heart, you beautiful human being. Your heart. Your heart. Your heart. And so when things come up today, recognize that the reason why they're coming up, why you're becoming aware of these things, is because love is present in your life. That in the absence of love being present in your life, none of these things would be happening. That love is the catalytic power, it is the alchemical power, it is the transformative force. Because love puts you deeply in touch with your survival. For example, when you first fall in love with someone and you're in a relationship, at first you're in the honeymoon phase, it's all hormonal and wonderful. But then after a while, all your fears and insecurities begin to show up. How come? Why don't you stay in the honeymoon phase? How come all of a sudden, after about 3 to 6 months, all of your fear and insecurity begins to show up? Because after a while, that relationship becomes an entry point into freedom. You just don't recognize it for what it is. For some of you, you were led to believe that love was outside of you, that you needed the other person in order to feel the love. What you don't recognize is that love is a catalytic power that's universal. It doesn't belong to any one person. It's equally present within us all. And we can allow it to be. Because when you deeply look at every path and every tradition, and you deeply respect everyone's beliefs, they're all pointing to the same thing. The same thing. To die unto yourself and to be reborn is to surrender the ego and the identity. the survival-based self, the illusion that you created because you didn't feel safe. So what you have tried to restore through material gain, fame, success, fortune, or not even bothering and just staying under the radar, you can't. The only thing that brings you home to the truth of yourself is some encounter with this love. And because you're all here, hearing my voice, every one of you has encountered this love in your own way, in accordance with your own belief, in accordance with your own tradition, your own path. However, today, as your friend who loves you, as much as possible, welcome that truth into your heart, whatever it is for you, and just notice what happens. I'm excited. I'm excited. You see, if we weren't supposed to have a diversity of belief, then we wouldn't have them. So we're supposed to have a diversity of beliefs, a diversity of paths. We're supposed to have a deeply personal relationship with this higher power. Every single one of us. So have it. Whatever that means to you. Have it through the heart. Have it through the heart. You know, Carlton Pearson used to say to me, God rest his soul. Well, first of all, he couldn't believe it. He said, Panache, you have all of the gifts of the anointing without any of the fire and brimstone. Like, how is this even possible? It literally blew his mind. Because he'd only ever experienced these phenomena from people who were a part of his faith. And not just his faith, but that particular manifestation of the Holy Spirit. Laying on of hands, everything. He's like, how is this even possible? Not only is it possible, it's available to everyone. And that's where sometimes you'll lose people. Beloved, if God is infinite, then let everyone have their own slice of heaven. I'm officially a member of every religion. Because whenever someone says to me, do you believe in God? I'm like, yes. Do you accept the high? Yes. Absolutely, you can pray with me. Do what? Oh, yeah, it's already in my heart. Yes. I have to cover all my bases. It's all universal love. Why wouldn't you? Right? I mean, doesn't it just rationally make sense to just be a member of every religion, just in case? Why wouldn't you be a universalist? Why wouldn't you recognize the universality of the love and cover all of your bases? Doesn't it just make sense? It does to me. And this is why we have the most diverse community in the world. You all have your own feelings, your own beliefs, your own religions, your own cultures, your own traditions, everything. I love it. Because it doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that you have an awareness of a higher power, that you've experienced that love directly, and that love, the manifestation of that love, is performing its alchemy within you every day. That's amazing. So, I love you all. Thanks for being the most diverse community in the world, from all over the world. Every religion, every manifestation of spirituality, every form of scientific belief, everything. I appreciate the universality and the eternal truth that's present within us all, and I deeply respect it. I'd like to thank my grandmother for modeling to me that it's okay to have a relationship with God and a higher power through the heart. Sanatana Dharma means eternal truth, and that eternal truth is present within us all. Thank you all for being a manifestation of it and an expression of it. However you worship, however you celebrate, however you find peace in your life, God bless you. Thank God for you. At some point, maybe we can get over our petty theosophical and theological differences and just recognize the universality in it all. From the Amazon rainforest to Jerusalem to the most sacred temples in India, to the Buddhist monasteries, to the Sikh gurdwaras, every sacred site, every place of pilgrimage highlights the unity and diversity that we all are, and love is the essence of us all. Love is the essence of us all. Thanks for listening today. Laurel. 1,546 days of cool to calm. Over 1,991 days, calendar days. Amazing. Amazing. All right, let's do it. Make sure the twinkle music is twinkling. Perfect. Good morning, sweet friends, and welcome to another Cool to Calm meditation. And a warm welcome to all of our friends on YouTube. Like the bell button and subscribe. I'll leave a comment. For those of you that are here, I just want you to know how deeply loved you are. And I want you to know that the essence of every faith, every tradition, every modality, belief system, ideology that's rooted from eternal truth is based in love. That in fact what we have is a proliferation of saints and sages from all traditions, all corners of the globe, guiding people back toward their hearts and love. And I think we can all agree that once we begin to have that relationship with that higher power of our understanding, more and more it becomes evident that love is the foundational essence of it all. So today, my deepest wish for you all is that you cultivate a devotional relationship with that truth, according to your understanding, your culture, your tradition, whatever that looks like for you. Because in my humble opinion, there's nothing greater than having a relationship with God, the divine, love, the infinite mystery. Nothing greater than having that relationship through your heart. Close your eyes, you beautiful human beings. Open your palms and take some long, deep cleansing breaths. Resting in the awareness of your breath transforms your life into a living meditation. Seated where you are or laying down, becoming aware of the vast interconnected network of rivers that span the globe. Every river in a different geographical region, serving an important life-giving function. And noticing that every river merges with the ocean. As you continue to welcome your every inhalation and exhalation, acknowledging, beloved, that maybe today's the day when you finally allow yourself to merge with the ocean and to recognize that your childhood, your path, your religion, your belief system, your mode, your medium of connection and oneness is exactly the avenue through which you come to know yourself as the one singular source of all. So just seeing yourself in the most beautiful kayak or canoe, making your way down this river of your faith, your belief system, how you were raised, your ideology, until eventually you find yourself in the ocean. What's weird though is that when you get to the ocean, you begin to discover other people in kayaks and canoes. And you look around just amazed and shocked. First of all, the fact that there are other people here. And secondly, that they all look different than you. That somehow even those people that are here in this ocean with you have come from different faiths, different religions, different walks of life, different levels of education, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different stories. That somehow through some act of grace, they've all ended up here with you, in this ocean, continuing to rest in the awareness of your breath, recognizing that the many rivers of the world merge into the many bodies of water, the oceans, that make up the majority of our planet. In the end, your individual journey leads to a universality of love and acceptance. With your every breath, allowing yourself to receive the gift of this universality. That there are a multitude of expressions of truth delivered throughout human history. And that every truth spoken by every great being ultimately was shared so that one day the followers of that path or tradition would find themselves exactly where you are now, in the ocean. Feeling an overwhelming warmth and love and sense of connection in your heart. And recognizing that the unification of ideologies, traditions, and paths is now here. The unification of all people from all walks of life is upon us. It's here. In this ocean, in your canoe or kayak, being careful not to tip over, even though you are wearing a life preserver, you begin to embrace your fellow travelers. And when you do, you begin to recognize them for the love that they are, the love that you are, the universal manifestation of love that is the seed essence of every path and tradition. The many rivers of the world merge into their respective bodies of water known as the ocean, and the many oceans merge together to collectively provide us the essence of life itself. Today, experiencing the love that you have in your heart with and for your fellow human beings, and simply recognizing that they're just on different phases of their journey in their canoe or their kayak, that eventually, while they're alive, or whenever they leave their body, they too are going to find themselves in the ocean once more. The unification of all people and all traditions and all paths is upon us. It is here. It is now. It is love. It's all of you. Continuing to rest in the awareness of your breath. And totally accepting this love that you are. Totally embracing it. Eventually, everyone's journey ends in the same place. Today, your journey has brought you here. And for that, I'm grateful. Take some deep breaths. And gently and slowly, just notice how you feel. Just notice how you feel. When you allow yourself to live with devotion and to live from your heart, all of a sudden every religion, every path, every tradition makes perfect sense. Because you recognize the essence of it as love. Because the essence of it all is love. It may not be that in its present manifestation, and that's okay. However, everyone who embodied the truth embodied the love, embodied the foundational essence of the love that we all are. So thank God for your faith, your tradition, your path, your belief in something, your lack of belief in something. Thank God for all of it. Thank God for you. Yay. Couple of things. Today's Wednesday. Group alignment session today. Super excited about that. We'll be diving into the infinite universal manifestation of love that's the truth of us all. If that sounds like a fun way to spend 60 minutes of your life, I'll see you there. Also, final installment of the Spirit Mastermind. Super excited about that. Super excited about that. And existing member impact registration is reaching a conclusion. So in the event that you're carrying on and you are currently in impact, let Beverly know immediately. And then impact registration for everyone else will begin soon. Also, a loving reminder that December 5th through 7th, we're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee. Can't wait. So make sure you book your tickets and airfare, get all of that squared away, details to follow. And I deeply love the love in you all. I deeply love the love in you all. Because that love is the eternal truth of us all. So thanks for being a fellow kayaker or canoeist. Somehow ended up in the ocean with me. And thanks for looking different, worshipping differently, praying differently, being from different parts of the world, being as unique can be. That makes my heart very happy. Because if we can do it, then maybe one day the rest of the world can do it too. If we can do it, then maybe one day the rest of the world can do it too. I have to get back to my day job of being an Uber driver now. So, my first ride has already been hailed. So I've got to go. Got to make sure I get that 5-star review. It's all about the review in the app. Anyway, so sending you all my love, and remember, please remember, to cultivate the relationship with the truth of your understanding of your path and your tradition through the heart. Through the heart. Okay? All right. Sending you all of my love. All of the info is over on the website, panachesci.com. Hopefully the YouTube video is perfect and pristine today. I adjusted some settings in OBS, so hopefully it works. And just so you all know, the unification of everyone is upon us. And that unification happens through the universality of the love that dwells within us all. Same love, different packages. Got it? Fantastic. All right. My love to all of you. Hope to see you somewhere in person soon. See you at the Call to Calm. Also, this Sunday we conclude the series of 3 Call to Calm sessions. Living Beyond Praise and Blame. how we actually recognize that we're just instruments and that there is a higher power doing everything through all of us. And we just happen to be blessed enough to be able to bear witness to the fact that all of this is happening. So, take care, you beautiful human beings, and I will see you tomorrow. Another monologue meditation via Zoom. Every day, 5 days a week. Be well. Hope you all have a blessed day.